change the profile of the statue. Then only I made this statue like this and increase the cross section. And it is safe now for the past 20 years. So common sense must go together to learn, to solve any problem with mathematics. That's my idea. And there are also many tricky common sense also. I thought when this Adiyogi Coimbatore statue came to me for checking, I thought it would also be some 112 feet. The ruler statue is 133 height, 133 feet. It is about 100 feet or 112 feet. I thought it will be a solid how they have erected and all, but on seeing the picture, no, I came to know it's only gimmick. So there are also innovative common sense, or I can say the common sense at the present time. So the people, the newcomers, are also very innovative to produce large structures. ஒரு கமெண்ட் என்னன்னா, இந்த யங்ஸ்டர்ஸ் வேலை பார்க்க மாட்டாங்க, சீனியர்ஸ் தான் வேலை பார்த்தாங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லி எங்க காலத்துலயும் சொல்லுவாங்க, நாங்க பெரிய சொல்லிட்டு இருக்கிறோம். And innovative techniques or innovations is not only from the senior people, but also sometimes from the many times from the young bloods also. அப்படிங்கிறது சொல்லிட்டு அந்த காலத்துலயும் கூட ஓபி அடிக்கிறவங்க இருந்திருக்கிறாங்க. இந்த காலத்துல மட்டும் இல்லாம அந்த காலத்துல நிறைய பேர் ஓபி அடிக்கிறதுக்கு எங்களுக்கு இந்த பிஏபி சைட்ல சொல்லுவாங்க. அந்த கோயம்புத்தூர் சைட்ல ஏதோ பெரிய ப்ராஜெக்ட்ல ஒரு இங்கிலீஷ்கார துறை குதிரையில வருவாராம். அவர் இன்ஜினியர், அவர் போய் சர்வே எல்லாம் எடுக்கிறதுக்கு போகணும். பட் காலையில வந்தோடனே குதிரை விட்டு இறங்குவாரு. இப்ப ஜீப் டிரைவர் மாதிரி குதிரைக்காரன் வந்து கடிவாளத்தை வாங்கிப்பான். அப்புறம் குதிரை வந்து திருப்பி நிறுத்திடுவான். துறை உள்ள போயிடுவாரு. திருப்பி நிறுத்திட்டு ஆஃப்டர்நூன் வரைக்கும் துறை வந்து கேம்ப் போக போறாரு, சைட்டுக்கு போக போறாருன்னு சொல்லிட்டு இருப்பான். துறை உட்காந்து ஜாலியில தூங்கிட்டு இருப்பாரு உள்ள. அதுக்கப்புறம் மத்தியானம் லஞ்சுக்கு அப்புறம் குதிரையை திருப்பி அந்த பில்டிங்கை பார்த்த மாதிரி நிறுத்திட்டு துறை வந்து கேம்ப் போயிட்டு வந்துட்டாருன்னு சொல்லி முடிப்பாருன்னு சொல்லி அங்க சொல்லுவாங்க. அது மாதிரி அந்த காலத்துல இருந்து இந்த காலம் வரைக்கும் வேலைகளை சிறப்பா செய்யறவங்க இருக்கதான் செய்யறாங்க. நாங்க இந்த ஹுமாயூன் மஹால் செய்யும் போதே நிறைய போர்ஷன்ஸ் நல்லா இருக்கும். ஒரு சில போர்ஷன்ஸ் 2 லேயருக்கு பதில் 1 லேயர் தான் போட்டிருப்பாங்க டைல்ஸ். அந்த காலத்திலும் 250 வருஷத்துக்கு முன்னாடியும் இந்த மாதிரி ஆளுகள்லாம் இருக்குதான் செஞ்சிருக்கிறாங்கன்னு சொல்லிட்டு, ஸோ there is no parity. யங்ஸ்டர்ஸ், சீனியர்ஸ் எல்லாத்துக்குமே ஹார்ட் ஒர்க் அண்ட் பேஷன் will fetch you everything அப்படி இன்ட்ரோடக்ஷனோட ஈஸி டெக்னிக்ஸ்க்கு போறோம். ஈஸி டெக்னிக்ஸ் நான் 2 பார்ட்டா பிரிச்சிருக்கிறேன். தம்ப் ரூல்ஸ், ஜஸ்ட் யார்ட் ஸ்டிக்ஸ் வச்சுக்கிட்டே நம்ம வந்து இது பண்ணலாம். 2வது பார்ட் வந்து ஸ்ட்ரக்சரல் ஃபெயிலியர். ஒரு கேஸ் ஸ்டடிஸ்ல நீங்க அந்த பில்டிங்கை பார்த்தோன்னே இந்த தம்ப் ரூல்ஸ் எல்லாம் கொஞ்சம் மனசுல வாங்கிட்டோம்னா, if you just understand these thumb rules, then you yourself will be able to give the reasons for the failure of these case studies. Before going to the thumb rules, as I said, in a planning stage, when an architect gives the column size without understanding or without presuming the correct size, later he will feel the width of the corridor, width of the hall will become less. And recently I noticed the architect assumed 1 foot beam, but in the basement floor, in the driveway, it became 2.5 feet, which has made the entire basement useless in the planning stage itself. So acquiring some knowledge in structural size of members, I think very, very, very useful for the architects also. With this introduction, we will go to the structural members in buildings. Hardly we have only 4 structural members for design in our buildings: slabs, beams, columns, footings. Slabs only serves to carry the loads imposed on them. Live load, dead load or furniture load. Slabs only carry the load. Other members are transmitting members. In fact, we need only slab. We don't want beams, columns or footings. It's not necessary from the requirement point of us, but from the load transmission point to transfer the load from slab, we need beam. So from the slab, load goes to beam. From the beam, it goes to columns. From the columns, it goes to footing. Though it looks rudimentary for you, if that fellow who has done the multi-story building which failed in 2014 Chennai, if that fellow had an idea that loads from the beams will be supporting brickwork, if that fellow had the knowledge that brickwork load will go to the column through the beams only, that building would not have failed, or he could have won the engineers at site and others to stop the work. So the knowledge of transmission of loads, even though it's rudimentary, it should go to the youngsters also. So now come to the slab size. How to achieve the slab size? So architects also study RCC designs. Studying RCC design by an architect created a problem to a young architect in this failure. He was accused that you should have provided the column size, the correct exact size in the drawing. So you are also punishable like that. That things, no, that's in government. But now we made a rule book, Tamil Nadu development rules, in which we have made strictly the responsibility of the structural sizes and all is vested with the structural engineers only. The recently formed all things, and I had an opportunity to take part in formation of that book. So we, having that in mind, architects are not liable for the structural member sizes. We made this Tamil Nadu combined building rules now. So, but at that time, no, there was no rule and all. So it happened that an innocent architect was put into task for providing a column of lesser size in the architectural drawing. Very simple, sir. How to assume slab thickness? You are going to a site in an apartment under construction and all. You can verify. In mathematics, we would have learned many things: L by 20, L by 26, L by 32, modification factor, many things and all. Nothing is necessary. Just if Lx, the shorter span is 5 meter, you just multiply by 3. It will give the thickness in centimeter. So hence the slab thickness for a hall with a short span 5 meter will be 15 centimeter only. If it is a 5 meter by 6 meter hall, 5 meter the short span, so 5 into 3 will give 15 centimeter. If it is a 6 meter by 7 meter hall, 6 meter by 7 meter hall, 6 meter will be the short span, 6 into 3 will be 18 centimeter, 180 mm or 7 inch will be the slab thickness. So this will do wonders. Even if you do tedious calculations and all, at last you will end up with this result only. Just multiply the hall size short span by 3, you will get the slab thickness. For your reference, we have up to 3.5 means how much, up to 4 meter means how much, 10 by 10 I am increasing. And one more thing is the cantilever slab. The most unstable structure in a building is a cantilever structure, whether it's a slab or beam. And the next unstable structure to my concern is floating columns. Those two things are to be meticulously calculated before provision or before design. For cantilever slab, the thumb rule is just divide the span by 10. Divide the span by 10. For example, if it is a 2 meter span means the projection. Projection, I call it as a span in cantilever slab. If you just multiply by 10, you will get 0.2 meter or 200 mm. If it is a 1.5 meter span, 150 mm. 1.8 meter, 180 mm. So this is the thumb rule which will help us to presume the size of slabs before proceeding to the detailed calculations or to verify at the site. How to calculate the size of beam? When I say size of beam, there are two things. One is the width of the beam, other one is the depth of the beam. One is the width, other one is the depth. As far as width is concerned, it depends on the wall thickness we provide. For example, residential building thickness of wall is generally 230 or even sometimes 200. So if you want to merge the beam inside the wall, which is required in residential buildings, we will provide width of the beam as 200 or 230 or 300. If the wall width of the wall is 230, it is common practice to provide 230. To avoid seeing any unsightly projections, we don't provide 300. But if an office building, we will provide 300 mm. It serves in two purposes. One is, for office building span will be large, the requirement of reinforcement will be more. So more number of reinforcement will be needed. So we'll go for higher width, 300 mm in office. Where in residential building hall we get 16 feet or 20 feet maximum. 6 meter is the span. So for that 230 mm will be sufficient to take care of placing of reinforcements. So 230 or 300 mm is the width. Coming to the depth, depth requires little attention. Depth requires little. Common grade of concrete is M20 or steel and nothing. The span is 6 meter. Your span is 6 meter. You just multiply by 7.5, a factor 7.5. So if you multiply 6 by 7.5, you will get 45 centimeter. 6 into 7.5 will be 45 centimeter. But in the field, while for verification and all, when I go to the spot, no, in my mind without calculator, I will multiply like this: 6 into 7, 42, 6 into 8, 48. So it lies somewhere in between. So 45 is the round number. So the required beam depth for 6 meter span, you multiply a coefficient between 7 and 8. So exactly I need 7.5. So it will vary from 42 to 48. I will suggest or I will verify whether 45 centimeter is there for 6 meter span. So whatever I cover here, I have given to Loganathan sir in a PDF form. He will send to you later. I told him not to give in advance because architects will ask so many questions and I will get upset. It's just for fun. So you can adopt a depth of beam as 45 centimeter. When I say 450 mm or 45 centimeter, it includes slab thickness also. So the slab thickness is say 15 centimeter. If the rib projection is 30 centimeter, 15 plus 30 will give 45. So when I say 45, it is 30 plus slab thickness 15, 45 centimeter. In civil engineering or structural engineering, when I say beam depth in RCC, it is inclusive of slab thickness also. So we can assume either 300 by 450. So the thumb rule is you multiply the span just by 7.5. For slab thickness is small, so multiply by 3. For beam, it's big, so multiply by 7.5. It is easy for me to give a thumb rule for flexural members like slab or beam. We call it as flexural member because it fails by bending. Bending, we call it as flexure. So it's a flexural member, it fails by bending. Whereas column, the predominant force is not bending, predominant force is axial load. It is subjected to load from beam, which compresses or push down the columns. So we need to calculate the load on the column. Similar to slab or beam, I cannot say for 3 meter height, this is the column size, for 6 meter height, this is the column size. Here, we need to know the load on the column. The size of the column depends on the load and not the span. Because when I say beam or slab, WL square by 8, WL square by 12, WL square by L square is the dominating parameter or controlling parameter. By manipulating that span by multiplying by 3 or 7.5, I was able to presume the slab or beam size because it depends on the bending moment, WL square, L square. But whereas here, it depends on the load on column. So a little attention is needed as far as to judge the column size. Yeah. Column size before we have to choose a particular column size. For that, I need to know the load on column. So first step, we have to work out the load on the column. Second step, we have to choose a column from the table which is capable of carrying this worked out load. So these two things I will do, not that much tough, but we need to understand. Whenever we say, we all know, when somebody asks us, what is the price of the building or construction cost of the building at Chennai, at Tiruvanmiyur, I am going to build a house. If a friend asks us, then immediately we will ask, how much square feet you need. Then if he says 1,000, then immediately we will multiply by 3,000 and we say it costs about 30 lakhs or 2,500. So some coefficient is there, some plinth area approximate rate is there. Similar to this, when I work out the load on column, if I want to work out in detail, I need to know what is the wall coming, what is the density of the wall, what is the height of the wall, what is the length of the wall, slab also, how much it is contributing, what is the weight of the slab, what is the live load, many things, and self weight of column, self weight of many things I have to work out. This is how in design office it is being done. But for preliminary assumption of this ISS, we need some coefficients to multiply. Those coefficients are present in the table in two columns. One is residential building, the other one is for office building. For residential buildings also, the coefficients adopted for interior column is different, edge column is different, corner column is different. 12, 17, 22. When I come to office building, I just increase it by 2 kilonewton because live load for residence is 2, for office will be 3 or sometimes many times 4. So I just increase by 2. So this is the live load difference between the office building and residential building. And how I remember these coefficients is not by 12, 17, 22. You forget in no minute. So I remember 14, 19, 24. So we won't remember. So I remember 15, 20, 25. Easy to remember. 15, 20, 25. 15, 20, 25. Then in my mind, if it's a residential building, from 15 I will go to 12. From 20 I will go to 19 and 17. From 25 I will go to 21. This is the way I remember these coefficients. And when I say this interior column, these two columns I name as interior column. I call it as interior columns. These 4 columns, 1, 2, 3, 4 columns, I call it as corner column. Other than that, this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This all around the column other than the corner column, I call it as edge column. Accordingly, I have increased. These coefficients, I will tell the danger in assuming these coefficients also. So just remember, for the time being, these are the coefficients 12, 17, 22. For the edge column, it is 17 for residential building. So I will work out a load on column in a very easy manner. So I am going to work out the load on this column B2. So this we call it as influencing area for this column. So this is the span 3.7. This is 6 and 6. So this is the difference between an architect and structural engineer. I made 3.7 bigger than the 6. 6 must be bigger than 3.7 for appearance. So this is the difference between you and me, sir. So this, assuming this is 3.7 plus 3.7 by 2, this is 3.7. This is 6, so this is 6 by 2, 6 by 2. So the influencing area will be 3.7 into 6 for this column, like this. This statement. It works out to 20 meters square, 22 meters square. Then this 22 meters square is the influence area. The corresponding coefficient I can multiply. If it's an interior column, it is the 12 is the coefficient we discussed previously. 264 is the load on column per story. Then for 3-story, it's the 3-story building. 1, 2, 3. For 3-story, it is 3 into 264. 3 into 264. It becomes 792 or 800. So though I have taken a little much time for explaining this, once you conceive this concept in your mind, it is very easy for you to reproduce it. Just work out the influencing area, then take the coefficient assumed from our memory, just multiply with the calculator, you get the load on the column. This is the first step. This is the first step. Then the second step is to choose a the load, the column, which is capable of carrying this load, 800 kilonewton. So I will go and see the table like this, load carrying capacity of column table. Many of us have. These two vertical columns will give the breadth and depth of the column, 230 by 230, 230 by 600. These things are capacities of the columns for various percentage of steels, because the load carrying capacity not only depends on the concrete area, but also depends on the steel area. To provide more steel, more load carrying capacity. So the table has been formulated to account for the size in the first two columns and also reinforcement with various percentage. It will be more clear if you look like this. You see, I have zoomed a particular portion. See, 300 by 300 column with 2.6% will be capable of carrying 900. But every time we cannot take this tables to the side or refer the table, no. So I will tell you a secret. For the 2.6% of the columns with normal M20 grade, load carrying capacity will be nothing but the multiplication of this length and breadth. The cross section area will give you load carrying capacity. See, cross section area is nothing but load carrying capacity. If you multiply 30 into 30 in centimeter, you will give 900 kilonewton. This load carrying capacity. It is not area, it is the load carrying capacity. If you see 300 by 400, the load carrying capacity will be 1200 kilonewtons. If it is 300 by 500, it will be 1500. So this is the secret hidden in this table. If you provide 2.6%, then the cross section area will give you the load carrying capacity of the column. So for 800 kilonewton, I am inclined to provide 300 by 300 with a little bit increasing. So this will make you comfort to provide a column of adequate size. A little more thing, we can work on the steel reinforcement also. You can see in the PDF which I will send. One more thing, an interesting thing is, which is the economical column, whether to provide more reinforcement, lesser size, or bigger size column, smaller size column with more reinforcement, or less reinforcement with the bigger columns. Which is economical now? It is economic. The code book says we can go up to 4%, but economical column, for economical column in Indian condition, 1 to 2% reinforcement generally economical. If you assume 2% is the reinforcement where we will be restricting, then you reduce the capacity by 10%, or I can say mathematically load carrying capacity of column is equal to cross sectional area into 0.9. 0.9 into cross sectional area with 2% reinforcement. So in our case, we provide 2% reinforcement, 30 by 40 column will not give 1200 kilonewton, but 1200 into 0.9 will give 1080. So this is how I reproduce these thumb rules from my mind and check the adequacy of the columns. I hope it will be useful to you. This is how. So for 2% reinforcement, it will be 13 to 0.9 will give 800. So for me, the column 300 by 300 with 2% reinforcement will be economical to carry 800 kilonewton. This is although I have taken little more time for explaining this concept. Even an experienced structural engineer will not have this thumb rule in hand to check the adequacy of the column or to ensure the size of the column before doing the detailed analysis. Only after doing the detailed analysis, you will be able to tell the exact size. But most of the engineers will have these thumb rules for slabs and beams. The 1 foot 1 inch the flexural member romba suit agum. Only very few structural engineers will have thumb rules like this for columns. This is my method. They will be having other methods, but my method, I can ensure this is the very, very simple method to assume the column size. With some coefficient, we have to work out the load on column, and you can just choose such a section and multiply with the cross section to give the load on column. So this is how we can presume the column size. I again, before going to the next step, I remember a story. There was a school teacher handling geography class, a primary school teacher. She was talking about mother planet. While discussing about the mother planet, she explained the mother planet is made up of Earth. Mother planet is made up of so many rivers, mountains. It is made up of 7 continents like America, Antarctica, Asia, and other things. After finishing the class, when about to move, a shrewd boy stood up and asked, "Madam, I am very happy that our mother planet is made up of so many mountains, rivers, continents and all. But what is the weight of mother planet, weight of the globe, madam?" She asked. That elementary school teacher didn't know that at that time. But she didn't want to reveal that her ignorance in front of kids. So she said, "It's a very good question, but simple question. I know the answer for this right now, but I'm not going to reveal it now. You take it an assignment. So while coming to the next class tomorrow, you complete that assignment, weight of the globe, and bring and show to me. I will verify and ensure whether it's right or wrong." After the class is over, student went to home, and teacher went to the library, and with the help of encyclopedia and Google and all, she found out weight of mother planet is 6,000 trillion tons. 6,000 trillion tons. She memorized, and after next class when they assembled, she asked how many of have done that assignment. As usual, none has done, and as usual, she has scolded them for some time, and she told, "Yesterday itself I know the answer, but I wanted to check how many of you are able to carry the surprise assignment in time, but no one, you are all waste. Now I will tell the answer. Weight of the mother planet is 6,000 trillion tons." And with that, she has seen that boy who asked the yesterday question with a pride face. That boy said thanks and stood up and again asked, "Miss, whether it is with people or without people?" By this time, Miss fell down on the floor, became unconscious. Similarly, if you ask a civil engineer, structural engineer, site engineer, the thumb rules for slabs and beams they will be having, but they will not be having this thumb rule for column like a weight of the globe. Miss was not having. So I have completed the thumb rules for slabs, beams, and columns. Footings also like this, but architects may not be interested what is happening below the ground. Anyhow, just for knowledge purpose, I only made this geotechnical engineers are responsible for foundation now. And this, I was able to suggest this idea that geotechnical engineers must be empaneled or enrolled in statutory bodies to fix liability on them. But I can say we can assume SBC to some extent, safe bearing capacity of soil. If it is a poor soil, it will be around 10 ton or 100 km per meter square. When you go to the site, it will be having soft soil. This is the SBC. Then footing area will be bigger. You have to provide big size footing. If it is a coarse sand, it will be medium, 150 kN. Hard gravel, you can assume 250. If it is some SDR type, loose rocks and all, you can go 300. Hard rock, 500 and so on. But you must have the concept, over the soil, more will be the footing size. And with this thumb rule also, even a geotechnical, if they are attending this now, they will scold me. This is not right. We have to do standard penetration test at the site and all. That's correct. But for preliminary assumption, these things holds good for us forever. So for clay it is 100, sand it is 150, 250 for hard gravel, 300 is for SDR. If you divide that load on column, which we previously calculated 800 kilonewton, and with of course 10% is for footing weight, load on soil will be 880. If it is SBC, it's clay, I assume 100 kilonewton, and pressure coming on the soil should be less than 100. If you provide 3 meter by 3 meter, 3 meter by 3 meter, 880 by 3 into 3 means 9. So it is 900 approximately, it is 39. Will be getting less than 98. So this is how we provide footing for the columns. Here, the calculating the load on column is sufficient to calculate the load on footing. They're just merely adding 10%. But assessing the SBC of the soil is a little difficult. Hard clay, which appears like a good soil, if you pour water, it will become a paste. Even a hard, rocky looking soil in Satyavedu and Sriperumbudur area, if you go, it will look like a hard gravel. But if you pour water, it crumbles into paste. It becomes powder, it becomes paste if you pour water. So assessing the SBC, you must be a little cautious. Generally, it's okay. Assuming 100 kilonewton for clay and 150 for coarse sand and 200 or 250 for hard gravel soil is sufficient to know the footing size. I have given some tips for assuming the depth of the footings also. A lot of ready reckoners are there in the market. You can make use of it. We have also published a technical handbook, which I will send that also to Mr. Lohan sir and Yuvraj sir for favor of distributing. All these thumb rules will be there. And even how to test M-sand will be there. Many things we have made a handbook. And as I said, no, whenever civil engineering or structural engineering cannot be learned in 30 minutes, lot of assumptions. I have given these thumb rules with a lot of assumptions. For example, I have assumed only boundary we have full wall and interior we have only partition walls. Suppose if we have interior also full wall, accordingly we have to increase the coefficient. It needs little common sense. Similarly, for staircase and toilet portion, these coefficients to be enhanced. And also the bigger danger here is the spans of beams assumed are small or moderate. Because I neglected the moment. When I say column, I design the column only for the axial load. I have provided reinforcement or size, not for the moment. Moments will be dominating or significant only in large span beams. The spans are large, then only moment will be there. So for normal residential buildings where the span is not more than 6 meters, office building not more than 6 meters, these moments will not be creating a problem. So assuming the axial load will be sufficient, in my opinion. Hence, it is advised to use these techniques with civil engineering knowledge and common sense also. So, இதுவரைக்கும் பார்த்தது உங்களுக்கு கொஞ்சம் mathematics மாதிரி. It's like a mathematics. Next, we are going to see the case studies. ரெண்டு case studies, 10 minutes தான். The building is a very popular building which failed in 2014 in Chennai. So this is the banner they had previously. It is a still plus 11 floors, so 12-story building, still plus 11 floors. It's a banner. They have two similar blocks, Tower A, Tower B. And even this one, which has failed in 2014, no? One building has fallen down and it was waiting to fall. It also took much time to demolish this building, adhering to many stipulations. We will go to the technical part only. So this shows, if you go inside this, no, you will understand why this building would have failed, why this building have failed. We have left wing and right wing connected by alternate ties here. So it is still plus 11. So this was so weak. So while collapse, no, it split into two halves and one portion has fallen left and the other on the right like a pancake failure, like this. This is the center portion. Even you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, like that you can count. Here also like that. So vertical split was there and it failed. So after the failure, everybody ran away and we were given this plan only. And we were supposed to assess whether the failing is due to design or material strength or foundation or many other concepts. But at that time we had no idea at all. So we have studied this drawing. You can also go through it. This is approximately 3.6, 3.63, 12 feet spans. This is the ground floor plan, a typical floor plan. This is the center connecting portion. Left wing is this one is the left wing. Similarly, this one is the right wing. You can see 3.6, 3.6, 4 row of columns. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there is no column here. Here, in this direction, it is approximately 4 meter and 3.7. Approximately, you can say 4 meter vertical spacing. It is 8 meter spacing, 8 meter spacing. After 8 meter spacing, the column is included. This is a normal 3.6 or 4 meter. This second row of columns also you must notice here. It is in the drawings, it is in the drawing, it is in the drawings, but it was not executed. These columns, this was in drawings only, this was not executed. These columns were not provided. These columns, here were in the drawing, there was a columns here in this row also. In this row also, there were columns like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. But you can observe in the site we found there is no column here. The reason they said the owner has come and told it is still to floor. No, it is very difficult to take the turning of vehicles. So no need of providing these columns. He told the site engineer who was looking like an infant child. Actually, he was a courier boy who came there quite often to give the courier to the site. One day that owner asked him, who are you? Then I am a diploma civil holder, sir. I am courier boy. Then you are appointed as a site engineer here, and he only looked after all these things. And when that fellow has told no need to provide this column, yes, adhered to his instruction. And we checked, as a result, we have checked the size of the beam, adequacy of the beam, as well as adequacy of the columns in this figure. So previously, when the column was here, and all, the span of the beam is only this much. Span of the beam is this much, this much, this much, this much. Columns were there. But you mind it, walls were only up to that place. Walls here only, up to this only, up to this only. So he thought wherever walls are there, we have to provide beam. And he didn't have the concept that from the wall, load will go to the beam. From the beam, it will go to the column. He was not aware of it. Terminate the beam like this. As a result, this load on beam from the wall transmitted to this beam, and this became the biggest beam, longest beam. They made unknowingly as the span of the beam like this. It is about 20 meter, unknowingly. They would have crossed like this, like this, like this. Instead, they made unknowingly this as the main beam. And 20 meter, our thumb rule is you just multiply by 7.5. For 20 meter, if you multiply by 7.5, 20 into 7.5, 1.5 meter. You need to provide about our height beam. 1.5 meter height is the beam required as per our thumb rule. Our thumb rule is span into 7.5. But what they have provided, only 450. Only 450, thinking it is spanning on the other direction, unknowingly. So this is the inadequate beam they have provided. And coming to the columns, take this column. This is about 3.65 span. This 3.2, this is about 8 meter up to this 8 meter. So tributary area will calculate, influencing area. This 1.6 plus 4, about 5.6 will come. If you mark like this, this will be the influencing area, which I marked for explanation. This influencing area, it comes around 22 meters square. Here also 22 meters square. Approximately you say 20 meters square is the influencing area for this column. 20 meters square the influencing area. So we know for edge beams, edge columns, If it's a residential building, 12, 17, 22. 12 is for interior column, 17 is for edge columns, and 22 is for the corner columns. For 17, you multiply 20 into 17, or you multiply by 15 for easy multiplication. So 20 meters square is the influencing area, 20 meters square is the influencing area, load coefficient will be 15, 20 into 15 will 300, 20 into 15, 300. 300 kilonewton is the load on this column. 300 kilonewton is the load on column. For 12 stories, 12 into 300 will give 3600 kilonewton. 3600 kilonewton is the load on this column. For 800 kilonewton, 900 kilonewton, we have to provide 30 by 30. 30 by 30. 30 by 30 will give 900 kilonewton. For 3600 kilonewton, how much size we have to provide if it is a square column? For 3600, we have to provide 60 into 60. 60 into 60 is the minimum size required. 60 into 60 is the minimum size required to give an equivalent area of 3600 centimeters square. This 3600 kilonewton. But they have not provided 60 into 60. Normally, if you want to put square column, make it as a rectangular. Instead of 60 into 60, you can provide 30 into 120. 30 into 120 will also give 3600. So 300 by 1000, 200 would have been the column size here. Not bothering about anything. They have provided only 30 by 45. 300 by 45 for this column also up to 12 story. This elevation or lachana vera. At the stilt lamatana 300 in stilt floor only, they made 300 by 450. In other floors, no, to hide the wall inside the brickwork, they made 230 by 450. That's 230 by 450. And the Mary Panna thought and the structural concept, this building has failed. So the thumb rules which check panna, or chinna the water can do in the building have insulated. But other Kaparna structural or check pandro, site level pandra, check pandalo facility. But at least drawing stage, evolving stage, how they are doing, we are little bit have a check. In the Marina, the building. The India column, instead of providing column here, they have not provided column here. They removed from the drawing. They constructed in 3 story. And 3 story ke tangman. But by miracle, it is miracle that how it stood for months together. No foundation. There in that area, we need to provide pile foundation is required up to 20 meter. 20 meter more than 20 meter. But this fellow has provided only raft. And also pile in the name of some compound wall pile for about 8 feet. He has provided here and there. And you have excavated, now we found pile also, then and there like a compound wall pile. And made a, but if this building had not failed during construction, if he had provided sufficient column size, this building would have failed definitely because of foundation, killing many other people. So it's God's grace that it failed during construction. So this is the major building fail ஆகி தமிழ்நாட்டில் ஒரு பெரிய ஒரு ப்ராப்ளத்தையும் it has created a huge setback for our real estate construction industry. It has created a huge setback. The corona பண்ண மாதிரி அந்த பில்டிங் அப்ப பண்ணது நம்ம எல்லாருக்குமே தெரியும். It was a huge setback. இப்பெல்லாம் அப்படி இல்லை, ஓரளவுக்கு நல்லா பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கோம். அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கிறவங்க நம்ம என்ட்ரி ஸ்டேஜ்லயே ரெஸ்ட்ரிக்ட் பண்ண முடியுது. அந்த பில்டர் பாத்தீங்கன்னா ஏதோ ரோடு போட்டு இருந்த ஒரு மாதிரி எல்லாம் அவர் வந்து இங்க ஆரம்பிச்சாருலாம் பின்னாடி கேள்விப்பட்டோம். இப்ப இந்த பஸ் ஸ்டாண்ட் ஒண்ணு அதே மாதிரி பாத்தீங்கன்னா கோயம்புத்தூர்ல ஒரு பஸ் ஸ்டாண்ட் விழுந்து இந்த if you see with this case study I will finish. This looks like as if bus driver make an accident and made the building to fall. No, building has fallen on the bus, and unfortunately driver escaped, but the conductor was sitting writing something. He was held and he became fatal, and many injuries were also. Idu appadina. This is also lack of the knowledge or loading concepts. It's a cantilever projection during construction, cantilever projections. Already they have provided inadequate thickness because of some misassumptions. அது போக I will finish it. They have added later in 2008 ஒரு parapet wall they have added, and also they have added overhead tank. Already inadequate slab, they have provided parapet wall at the cantilever. Cantilever structures are more vulnerable for failure. அதுக்கு மேல ஒரு 2000 liter capacity overhead tank. அன்னைக்கு மழை பெய்ற பெஞ்சதுல there was no drainage, so all the things together made the building to fail. So we must be very cautious or common sense to not to build any additional structures without knowing. But இதுல என்ன கொஸ்டின்னா 2017 years எப்படி அது இருந்துச்சு, 2000ல கட்டிச்சு 17 years வரைக்கும் இருந்ததுங்கிறத all bureaucrats asked me how it stood for 17 years. And I said it's mercy of God only. I concluded like this, mercy of factor of safety, nothing else. I couldn't answer them properly. அதான் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் வந்து அந்த inadequate பண்ணது, வாட்டர் வச்சது, parapet, then rain water stagnation. There was no even இங்க இந்த பெருங்குடியில் அதே மாதிரி இந்த பிரைவேட் ஹாஸ்பிட்டல் ஒன்று பின்னாடி a simple wrong orientation of these columns. The wrong orientation. The bending direction will be in bigger span. 6 meter side இருந்ததுன்னா 6 meter side தான் அந்த bigger size இருக்கும், side dimension இருக்கணும். அந்த other sideல வந்து smaller இருக்கணும். திருப்பி வச்சிட்டாங்க. Some that also must be taken. Many times the non-technical people know. You see, this is the thing what is happening inside. இந்த காலம் போறப்பல அங்க போட்டுருவாங்க. இந்த மாதிரி இந்த காலம் should continue, but they will simply for their Winston fans they will change. Even for making wire pipe to go, he has broken the main rod also. The main rod broke பண்ணுவாங்க. இங்க பாருங்களேன், to take this accessory, the pipe line, he has broken the entire beam. Rainfall எல்லாத்தையும் எடுத்துட்டான். So this is what happening in the site. நம்ம பயங்கரமா drawing architects போட்டு then structural ரொம்ப meticulous பண்ணி சைட்டுக்கு அனுப்பிச்சோம்னா சைட்ல வந்து இந்த மாதிரி எல்லாம் பண்றதை யார் பாக்குறது அப்படிங்கிறது ஒரு பெரிய கொஸ்டினா இருக்கு. With this, I will show some thing for to know understand the lack of common sense. You will wonder whether this will be happening in the site or not. Don't think it is happening in government; it's happening elsewhere. We used to send this drawing with cloud marks, for clarification. Somebody has constructed, but you would have seen all those things, no? In the Mari staircase, no, during construction, no, they will not understand. This will not be useful. So this won't be useful. This is very, very less landway. Architect said I need a staircase here. Structural engineer said I will put only column here. As a result, no. So these things also, this balcony is for the road goers. So if you provide that fellow opens the door, he will die. This is our department, integration between our EB and PWD or highways. So these things also. So this is what happening in the site. Nobody understand the concept. He said my specification only painting is there. There is no specification, technical specification to remove the rat. You cannot remove this wardrobe. So நம்ம கஷ்டப்பட்டு we are doing drawings, everything meticulously and sending to the site. Site people are not interested to carry out even the simple things with a mind. No one can use the 2 water closets at a time. Opposite also, travel பண்ற மாதிரி. See, providing both water closet and wash basin, no one can use. Only twins can use this. Twin brothers like Matra and Surya and Mary. It is psychologically environmental, not wasting the water, but we cannot use it. The European water closet has made it as an Indian water closet. So these are thing, no, transparent glass they have put in a mall, which is functionless. This is the highlight of this. Instead of providing this partition down, he has put it at up. So whatever the pain we are taking in drawing stage, it is not at all being done at the site. And also I will end up with this fund. This is the last slide. Structural engineering is an art of design with materials we don't understand, using loads we cannot accurately predict, employing models we do not accurately believe. Our fate itself is like this only, in such a way that the general public has no idea of the extent of our ignorance. With this, I'm making use of your ignorance also, and became a successful, great structural engineer. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
It was a very interesting session we came across, and Lognathan sir,
yeah,
I guess you can unmute, and I guess we had a very interesting session, and it was like humorous as well. I mean, it's the way he actually explained things.
Sir, Kalyan Sundaram sir, we never knew that the structural engineering is so easy. If we had known you earlier, we would have actually given more importance, the studying that subject. We were always little tense, whenever the structures, advanced structures and those kind of things come in our syllabus, So if we had known you much earlier, we would have given, like the importance what we give to color, texture, form, the way we actually appraise that, and then we get attracted to that. We would have actually done a little bit more of structural engineering also. But I must say, within this, actually this about 70 to 75 minutes have gone very fast. And within this short time, you have actually made us enable to give some idea of structural understanding to at least, G+3 building or something like that, how to calculate load, how to think of a beam, how to think of a slab, what is the simple, easy means of, the working out the thickness of a slab. So many things. Actually, there are, I see about 250 over people are there. And then there are actually many people have appreciated the kind of the presentation that you have given. It is so nice, so easy, and very nice. It's like, we have medicine given with a lot of honey. So something like that. So we now move on to a short session of question answers. We have our immediate past chairman of IAA Tamil Nadu, architect C.R. Raju sir with us.
Sir, Raju sir, vanakkam. Meet பண்ணுவோம்.
Yeah, sir, Kalyan Sundaram sir, I must say that you've been viewed by people across the country. There's a lot of
we have participants across
Rajasthan,
the country.
Goa, Maharashtra, Kerala, Jammu, Kolkata, so many places. Now over to architect C.R. Raju sir. Kindly shoot your question to Kalyan Sundaram.
Yeah. Okay. Good day to everyone. I think Engineer Kalyan Sundaram has given us a very excellent presentation and made us feel how structural engineering is so simple and easily understandable, and how we can follow simple tips to see that the structural and architectural drawings and design can go together. Of course, we have met in some of the CMDA meetings.
Yes.
On the Heritage Committee, and I always feel that he has a very nice way of putting things together. And one of the things I saw in his presentation, he started with sharpening the axe. Most of us have the metal, have the axe, but as he rightly said, are we continuously sharpening that axe? It's a very valid point. Though we have structural engineering and structural theory of structures in the architectural curriculum, all architects go through this curriculum and are knowledgeable about structures at that level. But beyond that, are we pursuing that particular aspect and then understanding and carrying it on in our practice is a moot question. So, for example, as you rightly said, the architectural drawings are good, the structural drawings are good, but most important aspect is the site and its management. Many times we feel reinforcements are placed wrongly and there's no one to check or correct that. So, as architects, if we have the complete information of what are the checklist at the site, then through our engineers or assistant architects or whoever is the site, they can be empowered by all these tips how to quickly get the things corrected at site before actual work happens. The other thing is today we find a lot of emphasis on steel structures in buildings. For example, multi-story buildings across the world, they are having, apart from concrete structures, there are steel structures also which have come into the realm of structural engineering in tall buildings. So I would like to ask Engineer Kalyan Sundaram, how is it going to manifest in our country and how it is different from the concrete structures and what are the benefits of steel construction in tall buildings? Engineer Kalyan Sundaram, can you please clarify for our members?
Yeah, when we go for multi-story buildings in India, for Indian conditions, finding building materials like coarse aggregate, M-sand or cement is little bit cheaper than the steel structures, cost of steel structures in India. That's why it's not becoming so popular. But when you go for very tall building, when we say tall building, it is more than 50 story and up. This RCC will not do. In that case, we have to go for this steel buildings only. But nowadays, it's becoming so popular also. But time being, this is not cheaper compared to RCC buildings as far as residence and office buildings are concerned. Industrial buildings, we know that. For Indian condition, the steel buildings, we have time to go.
No, especially with the scarcity of sand and natural materials, is still a better alternative for tall buildings.
Exactly, sir. Exactly. Because now we are for want of to save the rivers, we are producing, we say M-sand. But M-sand is pulled from rocks. Then rocks will go away in few years. So it's better naturally, as our C.R. Raju sir said, architect said, we will switch over to steel buildings only in future.
Okay. Now coming to the various practices architects are following in coordination with structural consultants, I think what we need is excellent coordination with the structural consultants. And for that, all architects have to keep on upgrading their structural knowledge and information as a continuing process. Today is one of the steps taken by Tamil Nadu chapter, and I appreciate them for that. And in the coming weeks, we are going to have many such programs involving other consultants also. For example, MEP consultants, HVAC consultants. All this information is part of our upgrading our knowledge on a day-to-day basis, so that when we plan our buildings, our whatever we are doing, it will be useful for us to incorporate all these ideas in a more efficient way. So I appreciate Engineer Kalyan Sundaram for his excellent presentation. And I think before we proceed, I think Loganathan, you can allow other members if they have any doubts or clarifications, and then we can continue later.
Sir, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your participation and also for raising this query thing. I think there's one question that has come up in the chat. Sir, please guide about spacing of columns in long span structure according to IS code and basement column size, something like that they've asked. I will repeat the query. Sir, please guide about spacing of columns in long span structures according to IS code, long span structures, and about basement column size. You have any simple thing to say, sir?
Yeah. Basement column size or stilt floor column size, in case of earthquake resistant point of view, it will be bigger if it's a stilt or basement. without any walls to take care of the horizontal loads. They are blunt and they directly take, they has to take the earthquake load. So we used to make it bigger. So generally in statutory requirements also, we won't provide less than 300 columns, 300 is a column. What is the difference between columns and walls? As per our definition, from structural point of view, though I don't generally agree with that, if the depth of the column is more than 4 times the width, which is 200 is the width of the column, up to 800 I call it as, we have to call it as column, and above 800, 900, if you provide 300 by 900, we call it as a wall. So the code is very stringent as far as column is concerned. They say we should not provide less than 300 column size or 400 column size also sometimes, depending upon the reinforcement going from beam. If it's a long span, what is asking, I may be assuming for a long span beam, you're getting more rod, more dia rods. If it's a 20 mm rod, code says we have to provide 20 times the diameter of the rod as the width of the column. If it's a 20 mm rod is going into the column from beam, the minimum width required is not 300, it is 400. To accommodate the reinforcement and column behavior, for basement columns or stilt floor column with long bearing long beams, the code says 20 times the diameter of the bar going into the column. That is the codal requirement. And in basement and stills, there is no walls. There is no walls provided like typical floors. The intensity of earthquake forces will be direct, has to be directly taken care of this column only. So engineers has to design this tilt column for 2.5 times more force compared to the typical floor earthquake floor. If I am designing the typical floor columns for X, then I have to design this basement column or stilt floor column for the 2.5 times the earthquake force. Mostly we don't do that. Unfortunately,
Okay.
we don't do that. I hope
We have a
columns.
we request our chairman Senthil sir to ask few questions.
Thank you, sir. It's a very nice presentation from your side. We all thoroughly enjoyed it, and I think I should really appreciate you. I really appreciate the members also for patiently listening to this excellent seminar. So I have few doubts. That is, for example, in the stilt plus 3 floors or stilt plus 4 structures, can we economize the design for each floor? For example, if in the first floor the reinforcement will be more, the second floor can we reduce the reinforcement, third floor can we further reduce the column size or the beam size and reinforcement. So is it possible to economize on all the floors?
Yes. Good. It's normally from execution point of view, people are providing the same reinforcement for all the floors. 416 plus 412 means they will provide the same thing for the 3 floors. It is not necessary. When you go up, they can definitely reduce the reinforcement. Even if a single rod, single lower dimension will save a lot. So from execution point of view, from convenience point of view, the site engineer or masonry at site, they are providing the same reinforcement from top to bottom for in case of small buildings. For taller buildings, they are reducing it. But smaller buildings like stilt plus 3 or G plus 3 also, they are adapting the same reinforcement throughout for 3 stories, which can be reduced. Even I can tell you one more concept in this regard. We have 4 columns, 4 row of columns in ground floor, second floor, first floor and second floor. When you go to the 3rd floor, they have removed 2 intermediate columns. Instead of 4, they are providing only say 2 to make an auditorium or to make a lecture hall or discussion room. They are terminating a column at the 3rd floor level. So 4 columns will come up to 3rd floor. From 3rd floor to roof, only 2 columns will be going. In that case, for that columns, for that terminal columns, 2 columns, end columns, reinforcement will be more only at top, for the top floor. It need not necessary to reinforcement will, if you calculate, you will get 825 or say 1220, 12 numbers of 20 at the top floor. But in the lower floor, you will get lesser rods, say 820 or 620, like that lower floors also. So there is an assumption that we should provide more rods only at bottom, and it goes on reducing to the top. Is not always correct. When you curtail some columns in between and you get a more span, so you'll get more rods at the top columns and lesser rods and at lower floors. Yeah, it is allowed. You can provide lesser rod at lower columns, and with the due overlapping, you can provide more rods at the top floors also. That is also there. That is also possible. From execution point of view and working convenience only, if people are doing the same reinforcement throughout, to make it an economical, from economic point of view, definitely we can reduce it, sir. Thank you, Senthil sir.
Thank you,
Sir, it's such a tricky things are there in very nuances are there in this structural, which really may make us think it's a very great observation that you have given. There are two things that is coming up. So one is a question from your presentation, and then after that, answering that question, we would request you to explain that Humayun Mahal. I think Yuvraj will play the video, and you can actually speak because people are actually really wanting to see that. So you can explain that. Okay, before that Humayun Mahal video, this particular question on gentleman has asked, sir, why the coefficient for internal columns is smaller than the corner column when the total area is larger in internal column?
When I give a guest lecture in this topic, no, this is the, if I'm in person, no, personal meetings or instead of webinar, many will ask only this question. The less coefficient for interior column, because it has more, both sides we have beams with an assumption that it has more area, and corner is small, but we are assuming that area is different from the coefficient. If I am able to explain, no, in the corner I am providing more coefficient because in the corner we have full wall on both sides. Full wall on both sides. My assumption. Good question. In interior column, the area concern is there. But coming to the loading concern, why I am assuming 17 is we have assumed only partition wall on 4 sides because it's interior column. If you come to the edge column, we have assumed, partition 12, I said for interior column 12 I assumed because we have only partition walls. I assumed 17 at the edge column only because I have full wall on one side and the other side I have partition wall. I suppose it's clear. That influence area will take care of that area. That loading is taken care of by the coefficient because of wall. If there is a full wall on both sides, you have to assume like 22 only. In interior also, if you have full wall on both sides to take care of that, that's what in caution or warnings at the end I have given. The assumptions made are very dangerous, and you must understand the assumption and use it. It's a very good question. Everybody must know the assumption is based on the full walls are there at the outer boundary, only partition walls there at interior place. This is the assumption I made. And also no beams are bigger. No beams are more than 6 meters.
Wonderful, sir. I think Yuvraj, you can play the video, and maybe we will hear from sir about the Humayun Mahal, because a lot of people are wanting to know about it. Yeah, please. Please.
I will share the video.
Okay, sir.
We can go ahead with it, sir.
You please go ahead, sir.
This is about 250 years old building in Chennai, located in a popular place known as Chepauk. It was built in the year 1786. 1786. The other buildings in Chepakere, red color buildings like our Victoria Hall or any other Chepak buildings are built in 100 years later, 1800. This is the only building which was built in the year 1786. We are using only the heritage materials, in the sense we use only river sand, we use only lime for the building, which we originally used. We have found out this material, source of this material they made during the construction. We found this lime were from Tirunelveli district, a place known as Kalumalai. We have good lime, uncontaminated lime in a place called Kalumalai. We bring that lime and we bring the river sand from Tanjavur and we use lime. And also generally we use only grinder for mixing the mortar. But we found our ancestors have used only this rodai, what you call roller, grinding roller they have used now. With the help of bullocks, they have driven this roller. And we found the mortar, lime mortar made out of this rodai grinding or bullock grinding, very nice compared to the mixing grinder, compared to the mortar made by the mixture. Because in the mixture, we only mix the mortar with the lime and sand, we only mix it. Whereas here, our ancestors have designed that in such a way, it grinds powder to some extent and only mixes it. In roller or mixing in using machine, we only mix it. Whereas here, we grind it, powder it, and then mix it. It's automatically it is done. It is automatically done because of that roller size. It's all well designed by our ancestors. We copied from the old places, like churches, our temples, where these were kept abandoned. But nobody was ready to spare it to us. Everybody thought it is a holy thing. They didn't allow us even to touch it. So we take a photograph, we made a design, and we brought the stone from faraway places near Vellore, and the stones and all from Mahabalipuram, and we made this design copying our ancestor design. And width of the things and speed of the bullocks, everything is matters here. And we were able to get a more sticky, durable, very, very good mortar by using our ancestor methods. We have tried this, and because of this corona, we send those bullocks to their native place, and we are thinking of to mixing it with a mortar, and with the same speed and all, we may do it in future. So this we understood our ancestors are great in producing very, very durable structures like this Humayun Mahal. So we wanted to bring all the government heritage building to its own glory by using the traditional material and traditional methods also. This made us to use this technique in Humayun Mahal. We are planning to use this technique. Of course, without bullocks, with machine and all, we may fit. In other places like Coimbatore, Salem, and also there are so many heritage buildings there. We are going to spread it throughout the state. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you so much for the nice thing. Actually, I got the opportunity to watch the video by BBC on the same coverage, and also from one more TV. In fact, it's very informative, and you are following these materials and these techniques with the same passion that we follow. We are very proud that now we architects are very proud that we want to follow these kind of heritage techniques and heritage materials. The same passion you share. So we are on the same page, and it is. Yes, sir.
அதாவது ஆர்கிடெக்சர் எனக்கு ஒண்ணுமே தெரியாது, எங்களுக்கும் ஒண்ணும் தெரியாது. ஆர்கிடெக்ட் இஸ் கிரேட். ஒரு அந்த டோம் வந்து ஹார்ஸ் டைப்ல எப்படி இருக்கணும், ஒரு ஆனியன் டோம்னா என்ன, கோத்திக் ஆர்கிடெக்சர் என்ன, அந்த லார்ஜ் ஹால்ஸ் இம்பாக்ட் எல்லாம் ஆர்கிடெக்ட்ஸ் தான் சொல்லுவாங்க எங்களுக்கு. நாங்க இந்த கன்ஸ்ட்ரக்ஷன் டெக்னாலஜி மட்டும்தான் பார்த்துப்போம். we cannot spoil the domain of architect. இது பண்ணி நாங்க செய்யறது ஒன்லி கன்ஸ்ட்ரக்ஷன் டெக்னாலஜி. எங்களுக்கு எவ்வளவு மேக்ஸிமம் போகும்னா, அந்த மெட்டீரியல் செலெக்ஷன், அதுக்கப்புறம் ஈவன் ஒரு ஆர்ச் இருக்குன்னு வைங்களேன், அந்த ஆர்ச்ல ஒரு டைட் ஆர்ச் வேணும்னா எங்கெல்லாம் பெக் அடிக்கணும் அந்த ஆர்ச்ல டியூரிங் கன்ஸ்ட்ரக்ஷன் ஆர் ஃபார் ரிப்பேரிங், அந்த கன்ஸ்ட்ரக்ஷன் டெக்னாலஜியோட எங்க டொமைன் முடிஞ்சிடும். அது அவ்வளவுதான் முடியும். உங்களை மாதிரி எங்களுக்கு ஒரு பெரிய அந்த ஒரு எலிவேஷனே அந்த ஆர்கிடெக்சரல் பாயிண்ட் ஆஃப் வியூல அவ்வளவு தெரியாது. we are making use of only architects, they are our creators. அதுல எந்த விதத்திலயும் நாங்க வந்து காம்ப்ரமைஸே பண்ணிக்கிறது இல்லை. we have consideration architects, guidance from any professors or architects, like ஒரு senior மீட்டிங் எல்லாம் வருவார், அவங்க சொல்றதை வச்சுட்டு தான் நாங்க பண்றோம். we are only doing construction activities. அதுல கொஞ்சம் இந்த ட்ரெடிஷனல் மெத்தட் பண்றது எல்லாரையும் கவருது. thank you for the architects.
Wonderful, sir. Very well said. Actually, we are very much delighted. So,
Yeah.
I
We
think
have,
this we can come to the end of the show because it's about 1.5 hours since we started. I wish to, on behalf of IATN chapter, I wish to thank all the participants who have taken time off on their Sunday, and then I wish to thank all the senior IA members, IA office bearers, everybody who have joined here. And my heartfelt thanks to Kalyan Sundaram sir for giving such a wonderful delight. It was a great feast for us. And thank you so much, sir. Our IATN chapter chairman, Architect Sandil Kumar, and other office bearers, everybody. All the participants who are here, Architect Anthony Moraes, especially for making this invite, a special wonderful invite for this particular thing. Architect Yuvraj for technically coordinating the whole show. Yeah, heart full of thanks to everybody involved in this program. This program has become such a wonderful success. There is a lot of appreciations pouring from length and breadth of the country. Thank you so much. Nandri.
thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. And this is we are actually planning to come up with a few more sessions, maybe in the upcoming weeks. So kindly stay safe, stay at home, stay connected. Do follow us in our Facebook page. We should be coming up live soon. So this is thank you from IA Tamil Nadu chapter.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Yeah.